So hi Marie, thank you for offering to do a mini session with me and for it to be recorded. I really appreciate it. That's really awesome. So I think the place to start is just to go through your stress questionnaire that you filled in so that we can get really clear about the emotions that are affecting you in regard to the area of your life that you've chosen on the form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share the stress questionnaire. So you've chosen, you've ticked areas of life, business and work, money and study, and you've chosen work to focus on for this session. So each of the different areas or sections within the questionnaire are related to this section is related to the fight response, and the next section is related to the fear response, which are the stress responses, and then the next section is related to all the other emotions. So we're going to go through each of the different sections, and I'm going to invite you to rate them out of 10 for the emotions that you experienced around this work situation, where 10 out of 10 is the highest emotion for you. Okay, so I'm going to write them down. And so with frustration, when you think about that area of work, what number out of 10 would you give it?
Like a 7. Yeah, 7.
7 out of 10, okay. And irritation?
6.
6 out of 10. Agitation?
6.
Annoyed?
7.
7 out of 10, okay. So this just rating gives you, it just gives it a lot of clarity, and it will help us to focus on what is most important for you. So very angry, what would you give that number?
7.
7 out of 10, okay. All right, and then we're going into the flight responses. So for uneasiness, what would you give it?
7.
Apprehension?
7.
And then none in that section. Then we go to the other emotions that you're experiencing in regard to this work situation. So number out of 10 for disappointment.
5.
And feeling insecure.
8.
Regret.
7.
Rejection.
8.
10. Waves of heaviness. 6.
Yep.
And withdrawn.
5.
5 out of 10. Okay. So you experience insecure mostly. And then we've got the deeper ones, hopelessness. What number out would do that? Out of 10.
5.
And shocked.
7.
7 out of 10. Okay. So we haven't got anything in that section. So shocked is the highest one. All right. So now we've got those written down. It kind of gives you a roadmap of where we could work. And I'll just go through the highest ones that you've given me, which is insecure and rejection, and that's in all the other emotions section. And then for the others, so for anger or the fight response and for the flight response, your highest ones are 7. So we've kind of have a quick talk, and you want to focus on the anger, clearing the anger that you've been feeling around this situation at work. And you've been focused on a specific situation, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to share what that's about in this session. However, if you don't want to share anything, that's of course that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing now so I can see you properly. That's good. Okay, so how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
All right. So out of the anger emotions that you ticked, which one would you like to focus on first? So you've got 7. I'm going to tell you the highest ones, because when we clear the highest emotions, I mean, it's entirely up to you which one you focus on. However, when we clear the highest emotions, it tends to bring down all the other emotions. We could start with the lowest emotions, but then what will happen is it won't bring the emotional impact down so quickly. And also what can happen with this work is that when we clear the emotions through the chemicals that you're experiencing in your body, it also has a dramatic effect on how you think. So when you're in the fight flight reflex, which is the stress response, it prevents you from using your rational thinking mind, because you get very focused on what's not right. And that's our form of protection through the part of the brain that is stimulated in that way. So we all have this response, but in different situations. However, there is a very simple way of working with the stress or fight flight response very quickly, and you'll experience that in this session. Cool. So the 3 highest in the fight reflex or response section is 7 for frustration, 7 for annoyed, and 7 for very angry. So you can choose whichever one that you want to work with, as long as that's okay with you working in this way.
I think annoyed.
Annoyed, okay. All right, so what happens when you're in the fight response or stress response? You've got the stress hormones flooding your bloodstream, and that's what's creating the stress experience. And when you're feeling angry, your body is basically set up to run. Sorry, not to run, to fight. Okay, but in our society, of course, that's not acceptable. So what we're going to do, we're going to use an active visualization to clear the stress chemicals in your body and to help you to cut your body to come back into homeostasis, and so that you can use your rational thinking mind, which you can't use when you're feeling stress. And when you can come back to your rational thinking mind, that means that you'll be able to see the situation probably in a different way, but also get your lateral thinking coming in and see ways that you can resolve the situation. Okay, so you need to focus on one, preferably on one event that's causing the annoyance. Otherwise, you just don't get the results in the same way. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that I call the taller technique an active visualization, where you, as far as you can, is to be in your body through the process. And there's been scientific research done with athletes to show that actually active visualization, when you're in your body and practicing, is actually slightly better results than practicing in a physical way. So for instance, with the basketball players, the ones that actually went out and to shoot goals had a 25% improvement compared to others that did nothing. However, with the ones that visualized with themselves being in their body, they had a 28% improvement in their results of shooting goals. So this is why this is really effective. And the other thing is that I'd like to share is that when you use active visualization, you are actually stimulating the same part of the brain as if you're doing it. So that's why these tools work so well.